All right, guys, pretty excited for this one. Um, we all know what this is. You know, your basic stock 4Runner setup up until 19, I believe it was. So my rig's a 2018. This is pretty much what came into it. Came with it. This is actually from a TRD premium. This 4Runner is not a premium, but if you remember, my factory head unit died. A subscriber or somebody on Instagram offered this one up out of their rig for a great price, helped me out, which was cool because it added GPS and a few other things that this 4Runner didn't have normally. But as we all know, no Android Auto or Apple Carplay until now. So these were announced 10 days ago, I think officially, or went up for sale 10 days ago. I ordered it within an hour or so. And it showed up today from China. So it actually shipped really fast. It took a few days to ship out and then got here pretty quick. So let's head in the garage. I'm going to open that up and then we'll get into it. This should be a super simple install. I have an iPhone 14 Pro Max. It's actually what I'm filming with now. So we'll test it for the Apple CarPlay. And then I've got a Pixel 6 Pro that we'll see if we can hook up also for the Android Auto. Now, just to clarify or make this known, I've never had Android Auto or Apple CarPlay or used it in any vehicle. I've always had a tablet. So this is an Android tablet with, LTE service. So I use it for navigation, YouTube, Netflix, whatever. So that's always kind of worked for me. I've had that for many years in this vehicle and my previous, I believe, 2 vehicles. So I never thought this 4Runner would have Apple CarPlay. For that matter, 6 months ago, I never thought I'd have an Apple phone. But here we are. So, gonna, like I said, go in the garage. We're gonna crack that open, see what it takes, pull this out, and then get it installed, and kind of test it all out here. All right, guys. Pretty basic, so that's what it is. So here's the brain for it. It's only got 3 plugins on this side, 4, but that goes to the harness. So USB video, because you can run a front camera, I'm not going to use, which is this harness, so I don't even believe I'll need that. This is the main harness that'll tee into the factory wiring, and then the Wi-Fi antenna, because this is wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. So I'm going to go pull the factory stereo out. We don't need to see how to do that. We all know how to do that. I'm just going to do it in the driveway because, I'm working on the Mazda out here, so don't want to air it up and move it right now because I got parts coming for it too. That's a whole other situation. It's good. I just got new brakes coming for it so we can get it on the road and go get tacos. But anyways, let's go pull the factory stereo out and get this stuff wired up. One thing, so I did go through the instructions real quick. So that's right, that's not a harness. That is some dip switches, which you have to match with your factory head unit, and I think they're preset for the vehicle because I ordered it for a 4Runner, but I'm going to verify it once I get the factory unit pulled out. So let's go pull the factory unit out and get this plugged in. All right, so factory deck is out. Probably saw me get a little carried away to actually unhook this harness, which connects I believe this is the satellite radio portion to the main head unit. That harness doesn't actually come out, but that's fine. They only plug in one way. So plugged it back in real quick. Here's the factory harness, GPS antenna, which, fun fact, if you haven't watched the other videos, this 4Runner didn't have GPS or navigation or even the compass on the dash until I added this out of a premium, and the antenna was already there. So once I plugged that in, everything worked. So got the factory harness. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to I got the aftermarket harness. Going to plug this into the vehicle, and then I'll plug it into the head unit and get it in there. So let me do that real quick and kind of button things up a little bit. So be right back. Okay, so real quick, it's super simple. The harness that comes with the unit only plugs in one way. The harness has 3 female plugs that you plug into the factory harness, and then it gives you the 3 males that go into the back of that. So really hard to mess it up. And then the long part here goes to the brain for Android Auto, CarPlay, and then there's a Wi-Fi antenna still. So let me get this buttoned up, because I did watch one of the videos that showed there's not much room back here, so you kind of got to get it tucked in nice and neat. So I'm going to put the camera down and grab some zip ties and kind of wire it in there a little bit nicer and make some room and shove it back in there, and actually maybe dust a little bit, but we'll be right back. Okay, and one thing to check real quick when you're at this point is on this label on your factory head unit, it'll tell you who made it. Most likely it's going to say Panasonic, which this one does. So conferring with the instructions, the Panasonic, all the dip switches are to be off, which they were, except one was not quite set all the way. Like it might have been bumped or just didn't get quite set. So kind of glad I caught that. Just eliminates that to make sure all those dip switches are correct. So again, just double check your Panasonic and then double check your dip switches. It'll save you a lot of hassle once you get it all tucked away. All right, just to kind of show where I tucked it in, but basically over here on the left side, to the very left of where the factory head unit will be, that's it right there. Just, it doesn't fit super snug, but you got to maneuver it around a little bit, and it fits the wiring, tucks in down here nice. And then I just dangled the Wi-Fi antenna for now. I don't know if I'm gonna have to move it someplace close to the phone and mount it. It's got 3M tape on it, so it'll be nice, but it's just dangling for now. So again, that's tucked back in there. All the aftermarket wiring is gonna fit right into place. So let me get this plugged in and should be able to just pop it right back into place. All right, guys, so I'm connected to my phone right now. Sorry I didn't get the setup. I was struggling a little bit. Just a tip, when you first turn it on, go to audio and select aux, and that'll put you into the mode to pair CarPlay. First thing you got to do is you got to connect the Bluetooth. Even though my Bluetooth was already connected to the 4Runner, it has to connect to the module. So I've been playing with it for just a minute, because like I said, I've never had Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. So I mean, it's cool. It's got everything. I'm going to try not to swipe to the map to my house. Not that anybody cares, but everything seems to work. Played music, which obviously we can't play in the video. Was playing with the maps, the navigation. I need to figure out, it might be something super simple, satellite radio, because I do have satellite, and how I get to it on here. But nonetheless, let me go through and hook up my Pixel phone, so we can see what Android Auto looks like, because CarPlay is working. Everything's good. Like I said, it's playing Apple Music, which is what I use. Haven't done a whole lot more, but it all works. Probably open something here. Whatever this is, I don't even know. Podcast or something, or news. Anyways, let me connect the Android and see what it looks like, just to show that it works. Okay, so Android Auto, same setup. You just go through and connect to the Bluetooth, and everything's set up. Again, I'm not going to scroll through because it'll show addresses and everything. Not that too many people care. Interesting thing I do notice, and I don't know if this is an Android or Pixel or iPhone thing, the signal shows 5G, where I'm actually getting 5G ultra wideband with this phone now. In Apple CarPlay, I'm also getting 5G ultra wideband on both SIMs in that phone, because it just is, and it shows it. So just a stupid quirk thing, and it keeps dropping the signal. This is going to be a Pixel thing. The Pixel's not getting as good of a signal here as my iPhone is. But nonetheless, there is Android Auto, and I think, I wonder if I can just switch back and forth. How did I do that? Oh, and I can go back to CarPlay, I bet. And then it's going to be, I may have to reconnect the phone because I'm using it for video and I disconnected it to hook up that. But anyways, let me switch back to CarPlay and we'll finish up here. Alright guys, so got everything kind of buttoned back up. Well, not kind of, but it is buttoned back up. I just got to throw the tablet back up real quick. Just been sitting here playing with it. Again, I've never used CarPlay before, or Android Auto. I disconnected Android Auto because it was messing with me trying to work with just my iPhone. But everything seems super responsive. Controls work. Made a couple phone calls to my other phone. Everything seems great. What I did notice is that I had to go back to the factory interface and disconnect my phone or remove my phone from the Bluetooth. What that would do, if you left it connected, it's probably not a big deal, but phone calls would go through the factory Entune, so it would kind of jump out of CarPlay. But now that I've disconnected the phone from the factory Entune and it's only connected via Bluetooth to the CarPlay, it calls through CarPlay, so it does the whole CarPlay display with the pictures and gives you all the controls. So I tried to test it. It apparently uses the factory mic still, best I could tell. I've just been kind of playing with it, honestly, because I've never had CarPlay. But it looks like a success. I'm actually pretty excited about this. This is pretty neat. So I might go drive around, or maybe I'll just wait till tomorrow. But I'm going to go throw this video up. If you want to get one of these, I want to say there were, don't quote me on this, but at this point in time, $225. So not super expensive. I'll put a link to it below from Car Trim Home. Do some searching. There's some discount codes available on it. But I'm pretty happy. It seems to work, and I don't know that there's much else to cover. It all tucked in there. It all worked as it should. Oh, I did, to get satellite radio to work, have to jump back out to the factory Entune, which I think you have to also if you want FM. I could be wrong. I'll do more research. But to do that, if you hold the voice button for a couple seconds and let go, it switches back to the factory Entune. So I don't know if that's common or what have you, but yeah, I'm pretty excited. I'm going to probably play a little bit more, clean up just a couple things, and get this video uploaded so folks can see it. But Apple CarPlay, Android Auto in the 4Runner, something we never thought would happen. Good to go. Thanks all. See you next time.